right. Good morning, everyone. Let's fix this. Technology and I are not friends today. All right. I'm going to turn this off and turn it back on. All right. So I feel this morning like a little bit of, what's his name? Mr. Rogers. And the reason is because I woke up this morning and I thought, Mr. Rogers, every day it was like a new lesson with Mr. Rogers. And I loved it when I was a kid growing up because it was like every day there was something new to learn. There was a new lesson, there was a new theme, right? And obviously as a kid, I didn't know it then, but it was usually a life lesson, right? And so today I would love to share with you a life lesson that, thank goodness to yoga and meditation, has actually really allowed me to lean in as opposed to lean back. Let me explain what I mean by that. So today's Team Up Tuesdays in my world. And on Tuesdays, I like to give a special shout out to people that I'm in life with or I'm working with or, team energy, right? And so I usually dedicate my practice to someone in that way, in addition to other days, but specifically that's kind of the focus. So this morning I woke up, and before I got out of bed even, I already got a message. It must have come in late last night, and I turned my phone on silent when I go to bed and on airplane mode so that it, the frequencies and everything. I prefer to have it in another room, but I don't go quite to that degree just yet. So I put it in a mode that it doesn't disturb and hopefully keeps some of those frequencies away. So I wake up, do my little ritual, and then I get out of bed, I look at the phone, and then I notice there's a message in there that, although intended on being perhaps very neutral, I could have taken it very personal. And it was basically someone whom I love, whom I care about, expecting me to change because they didn't understand something. So rather than them taking responsibility for themselves, they wanted me to change the way I do it. And so my first instinct was, yeah, no, you change, right? And then my second instinct was stop, reflect, take a big old, deep, powerful belly breath, let it go. Let it go. Because if it stops you from feeling good, or it interrupts what you know is true for you, it's not worth holding on to. Now, on the flip side, if it's something that you've been working on addressing in your life, like for example, let's say you have a bad habit of biting your nails, and you've been trying to stop biting your nails, and someone says to you, you should really stop biting your nails. Like the first instinct is, oh, excuse me, I am trying, right? I don't bite my nails, but sometimes I do, but not like to that degree. So that's just an example, right? But if, let's say, you are biting your nails and you know that you're self-conscious about that, and someone says that to you, that's like very impactful. It might even hurt you to some degree. You might feel some emotional response to it because someone you care about is judging you in your perception, right? And through your filter. So the first thing you get to do is you get to ask yourself, is this true? And if it's true, you get to then decide, what do I want to do next with this? And you may decide you don't want to do anything and you just let it go, like I shared a moment ago. Or you may decide that, hey, you know what? This is something I would like to adjust in my life. I don't like that I'm biting my nails. I think I should stop. I'm going to enlist support and and get help on learning how to stop biting my nails. I'm gonna go to a support group. I'm gonna put, blue tape on my fingers. I'm going to call in people that I know will help me. Right? So I'm obviously just giving you an example. I'm not saying you should put blue tape on your fingers, but if it gets you to stop doing a bad habit, yeah, maybe. And my whole point in this is there's a beautiful prayer that I use as a tool and that I teach a lot of my students and clients, and it's called the Ho'oponopono prayer. And that is what I'm going to share with you guys today, because that is all about Team Up Tuesday. It's all about all of us working together to really elevate and reformat, restructure, redevelop our consciousness collectively. And it's amazing, and it's very in line with yoga, meditation, mindfulness. It's a beautiful, very simple, yet effective prayer. And it goes like this. I am sorry. I love you. Thank you. And please forgive me. 4 very powerful and very effective, simple phrases. And how it works is like this. Rewind to this morning. I wake up. I see the message. Wow, that's interesting. Wow. And I say to myself, to whatever memory or data is causing me discomfort related to this comment, related to this situation, or anything along those lines, I am sorry. I love you. Please forgive me, and thank you. Excuse me. Now you could say a combination. You could say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. You could say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. You could say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You could say, thank you, please forgive me, thank you, please forgive me. You could say, I love you, thank you, please forgive me. You could say any combination of all of the 4 phrases you wish. But the key is that you do the practice. And the reason why, there is some magical, that's the only word I can think of. There's a magical frequency inside those words. Think about it. It doesn't matter how mad you are. If somebody stops and says to you, I'm sorry, and they genuinely mean it, like really core level mean it, you might not be ready to let it go right in that second. But if you hear it, right, loud enough, or not loud, but purely enough, you will honor that at some point. It might take you a day, might take you 5 years, might take you 20 seconds. But at some point, if someone says, I'm sorry, or I love you, please forgive me, or thank you, most likely you're not as upset as you were when it happened, right? So the whole key of that is that we give ourselves those words to remind us that whatever memory or data that pain is caused by, right? We pull that splinter, as I call it, we pull that splinter out by the root and we let it go. Now, sometimes I do this prayer thousands of times a day. And there's a whole backstory behind how the prayer got started. It's a beautiful Hawaiian prayer, and it was actually started by a lady, as I understand, who then the prayer was adopted by a doctor. He was a psychologist named Lu Len, I think was his name. And I'm sorry, I have some allergies this morning I'm working on. So, and stay tuned on that. I got some cool things I'm working on to get rid of those. So, Hulen, I think was his name, Hulen, he worked in an asylum, a mental ward basically, of a hospital. And for 4 years, he was working on these very, very, very hard cases. And it was basically the most, I guess you could say, some of the hardest criminals in that area. And these were people who had done horrific crimes. And they were in this asylum. And nobody could help them. And the wards were starting to quit, and the police officers who worked at the hospital were starting to leave, and all these people were starting to just like give up on these people. So who then spent 4 years in his office. He would grab a folder and he would basically meditate on their folder. He never met these people, never met these prisoners. He literally just prayed on their folders, and he would say this prayer to whatever memory or data caused this thing. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me and thank you. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me and thank you. For 4 years. And by the end of the 4 years, all of them were released on good behavior. So I don't know how this works. I just know that every time I do it, it is like magic. And so for Team Up Tuesdays, I want to share with you the power of that, because we need each other. And you might need space from someone. You might need to give yourself permission to reflect, or maybe even be upset for a little while. But give yourself greater permission to let it go and move on. Because the only one that's hurting is the one that's impacted. So today, my friends, I want to give you that. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to getting your questions, because usually it brings up some questions. It is something that I've actually been certified in. I'm working on my next level and just making sure that I, have all the access to teach it. But this is something I just wanted to give you a little snippet so you could learn a little bit more about. And if you have any results, I'd love to hear about those too. So have a beautiful, amazing day. Let's keep thriving, keep rising together as a community and as a global family. Thank you guys so much. Namaste. And I will see you tomorrow.